y'all, and welcome back to my Help Wanted 2 theories. Today I'm going over Candy Cadet's 2 new stories from Help Wanted 2 and my personal interpretation of them. I will play a story and then analyze it. I also have a bonus at the end of this video about a rough Help Wanted 2 timeline I made. Before I dive into this, I need to go over the nature of Candy Cadet's stories. They are always metaphors for something else. They aren't meant to be taken literally. Candy's 3 stories and Pizzeria Simulator were about 5 things becoming one. A boy did not literally sew a kitten back together after his snake ate 5, but there was something in the story FNAF that involved 5 things becoming one. The MCI becoming Molten Freddy. The characters Candy is referencing can also appear differently, like how Cassie was represented as a little boy in Candy's story in Ruin. There is a whole lot of fog surrounding Candy Cadet's stories, so when it comes to analysis, everyone who analyzes them will have different ideas. These 2 stories especially leave so much up to interpretation. Everything in this video is my own interpretation and my own ideas. I have not watched or read any other discussions about Candy's 2 new stories. I have no clue what the popular consensus is on them. I will happily discuss them with people in the comments though. So, moving on. Story 1.
Now I will tell you a story about a family that missed the most important opportunity in their lives. It was a limited time offer that included a family-style pizza with all their favorite toppings. It also came with a side of fries, mozzarella sticks, extra large soft drinks, and a toy surprise. It was only $49.99 while supplies lasted. They did not purchase the food and they all died.
I believe the family in this story is Cassie's family. Note that I am going to call Cassie's dad Carlos just for ease. That is not his canon name. We already know plenty about the Afton family, and since Candy gives us stories about things we don't know a lot about, that rules the Aftons out. Another family I thought of was maybe the Emilys, but the Emilys don't have any obvious relevance to Help Wanted 2, and Candy always gives stories that have relevance to the game he's in. One last family I could think of was Cassie's family, and they match the previous criteria. We don't know a lot about them, and they are relevant to Help Wanted 2. Now that we have the family settled, the rest of the story remains.
Family that missed the most important opportunity in their lives.
What is this important opportunity? My guess is something like a work promotion for Carlos, or maybe the staff retreat we learn about in the special delivery emails. I got nothing more than that. I don't think the style of the pizza is important other than it being family related. There being 4 add-ons of
Fries, mozzarella sticks, extra large soft drinks, and a toy surprise.
Could mean that there are 4 people in total in Cassie's family. However, there has never been any mention of other family members besides Cassie and Carlos, so I doubt it.
It was only $49.99 while supplies lasted.
The number might have significance, it might not. I feel like if it does have significance, it would point to either a character's age or a specific year. I thought 49 could be how old Carlos is, but even just using 2030 as a base year for Help Wanted 2 has him born in 1981, which does not work with my belief that he is the Bonnie Bully from FNAF 4. So, moving on from trying to understand 49.99.
They did not purchase the food and they all died.
Now this line is definitely important, because it can tell us which endings of Ruin and Help Wanted 2 are canon, because it has to be whatever ending the player character died in. Let's go over each ending, starting with Ruin. The elevator ending. Death is uncertain. Surviving that elevator fall would be hard, but Roxy saying Cassie at the end implies that Cassie is still there. However, death is not the end for FNAF characters, so Cassie still could have died but not have her story end there. The Scooper ending. Mimic is dead. It can't drop Cassie down the elevator, and Gregory would have no reason to. Therefore, this ending is completely ruled out, as Cassie definitely survived. The Brazil ending. Death is heavily implied, which makes this Bizarro ending the most likely candidate for the canon one. Now on to Help Wanted 2's ending. The Faztron ending. Death is confirmed because Carlos outright possesses a staff bot, making this ending canon. The Vanny end. Death probably had to have happened in order for Carlos to become the princess. I personally believe that before Carlos possessed Maskbot, he first became the princess, making both endings canon. That's it for story 1. Now on to story 2.
Now let me tell you a story about a young woman who, when she was little, was led into a dark forest by a witch and almost eaten. She had fallen for the friendly voice without discernment and was led astray. She had escaped before being thrown into the oven, but would have a scar for the rest of her life. When she had grown, she sought revenge on the witch, and entered the forest again willingly, this time with the confidence of age and experience. She was greeted at the mouth of the forest by a young boy who offered to help guide her through the darkness. She welcomed the help, and followed the young boy over the river, through the jagged trees, and toward a small house. "Come," the boy said, "rest here before killing the witch." The young woman was tired, and would kill the witch in the morning. She followed the boy into the house. The oven door closed. The witch would finally have her meal.
My first interpretation of this story was the young woman being Vanessa, the young boy being Gregory, and the witch being Glitchtrap. But that's not actually my interpretation for this video. I currently believe that the young woman represents Edwin Murray, the young boy represents Mr. Burrows, and the witch represents the Mimic. Candy's story in Ruin was like a retelling of the story that was currently happening to us. I think his new story about the woman and the witch is a retelling of the storyteller from Book 5 of Tales from the Pizzaplex. And this does match the criteria I mentioned earlier, as the books are an area of lore we need answers for, and it has relevance in the fact that the Mimic is relevant to Help Wanted 2. So now let me explain the similarities I see between the two stories.
About a young woman who, when she was little, was led into a dark forest by a witch, and almost eaten.
When Edwin was young, he created the Mimic, and the Mimic became dangerous and could have very easily almost killed Edwin.
She had fallen for the friendly voice without discernment, and was led astray.
The Mimic was very friendly at first, so Edwin at first thought it would remain that way. He was led astray.
She had escaped before being thrown into the oven, but would have a scar for the rest of her life.
I'm not sure about the escaping part, but Edwin had a major mental scar after everything that happened with his son.
When she had grown, she sought revenge on the witch, and entered the forest again willingly, this time with the confidence of age and experience.
Edwin didn't really seek revenge, but in the Storyteller he did seek to destroy the Mimic, and he went in the Storyteller tree willingly to do so. There are a few times throughout the story where Edwin talks about things like the confidence of age and experience, so that part can also apply.
She was greeted at the mouth of the forest by a young boy who offered to help guide her through the darkness.
I believe the young boy is Mr. Burrows. Mr. Burrows never guided Edwin into the Storyteller tree, so there is a hole there, but the rest of what he does fits.
She welcomed the help, and followed the young boy over the river, through the jagged trees, and toward a small house.
This is another rocky bit, but the path Edwin takes to get inside the Storyteller tree is complicated, like how this story is implying with the details of the river and the jagged trees.
"Come," the boy said, "rest here before killing the witch." The young woman was tired, and would kill the witch in the morning. She followed the boy into the house. The oven door closed. The witch would finally have her meal.
Mr. Burrows might not have directly lured Edwin inside the Storyteller tree, but Mr. Burrows did still set the trap of closing Edwin's escape door. Kind of like an oven door. The trap that gave the Mimic Edwin. I think the Mimic got what it would have wanted. Its creator. Its creator would be its meal, in a way. This doesn't work 100%, but I think the woman and the witch being a metaphor for the story of the storyteller works a lot better than with Vanessa and Gregory. If it were Vanessa and Gregory, all we'd have is more questions. But if the story is the storyteller, then we have been given an answer to the Tales Games debate. Yes, Tales from the Pizzaplex is in the game's continuity. Anyway, like I said, these were just my interpretations of the two new Candy Cadet stories. I would love to hear your own thoughts about these two stories. Now on to the bonus part of this video, a Help Wanted 2 timeline. Since this is a bonus, I'm not going to go over why I put each minigame in its place, I'll just go over the basics. I personally believe that all the Help Wanted 2 minigames are actual events, so I figured I would put them all on a rough timeline from Help Wanted 1 to Ruin. These are not exact dates, only in order of events. There were several different factors that played into where I put each level, which were, number 1, when a level ended with report to blank for your next shift and things like that. Number 2, environmental details that put levels in either a destroyed or non-destroyed pizzaplex, such as piles of dirty boxes versus nothing on the floor. Number 3, how close a character behaves to their security breach version. Number 4, Sister location minigames happening after Security Breach, because I have come to the conclusion that Fazbear Entertainment started to rebuild Circus Baby's entertainment and rental after rebuilding the Pizzaplex failed. Number 5. Levels seeming like they happen in a baby Pizzaplex, like Endo Warehouse training baby robots. Number 6. How close the environment looks to its Security Breach counterpart, including the designs of the animatronics. Number 7. Details that put certain levels happening after others, such as the carousel having to take place after Fazbear Blast FNAF 2 because of the fire. Number 8. Just straight up guesswork. This goes for many of the exact placements of the before Security Breach levels. Number 9. Other level specific details, such as Bonnie Bull having a Bonkabon poster, making me put the two right after each other. Without further ado, let's go through this timeline. Spanning from Help Wanted 1 to Security Breach, the order goes: Endo Warehouse, Salon Staff Makeover, Salon Roxy Makeover, DJ Music Time Beginner, DJ Music Time Advanced, First Aid Pig Patch, First Aid Lefty, Fizzy Faz Night 1, First Aid Scrap Baby, Fizzy Faz Night 2, Cold Storage, Fizzy Faz Night 3, Arts and Crafts Daycare, Fizzy Faz Night 4, Food Prep L Chips, Fizzy Faz Night 5, Food Prep Pizza Pizza Pizza. Now the events of Security Breach go down, and then my timeline continues onward. Food Prep Fazbear Theater, Salon Roxy Repair, Bonnie Bull, Bonkabon, Fazbear Blast Western, Fazbear Blast FNAF 1, Fazbear Blast FNAF 2, Carousel, Cinder Carousel, Captain Fox's Log Ride, Fazbear Blast FNAF 3, Arts and Crafts Loft, DJ Music Time Pro, Velour Gallery, Breaker Room, Office Private Room, Office Puppet Master, Office Fun Time Gang, Bonkabon Bonus Round, Office Job Interview, and Breaker Room Hard Reset. I don't have Princess Quest 4 on my visual, but this is now when Princess Quest 4, the Vanny ending, and the Fast Run ending would take place, with Ruin coming right after, of course. And there is my timeline. If you would like to know any of the specific details of where I put a certain level, let me know. I would be happy to share.